Ladies and gentlemen, Week 18 is coming up. Philadelphia Eagles play New York Giants tomorrow at home to close out the season. It's not going to be like the normal preview. It's going to be different, but your boy's going to talk about what to expect in this one.
Fasten your seatbelts for the realest Eagles and Sixers YouTuber! One who plays no clickbait and gets to the point! The myth, the legend, Nicky Steves! Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. I'm simply statue, think and slate, dropping unrealistic magic. 2K takes for the clip. Even though cats like that get views closer to the millie, never hear me preach, look on to Philly. Before you watch the Eagles all the way through the early 22, authentic talk, forget what others do. Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keep things real. The 24/7, 365 way. Sports content for the reals that feel the day.
Alrighty, folks. Week 18, Eagles versus Giants is slated to go down tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the link. And honestly, this is the least important game of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think we can come on here and just be honest about it. The Eagles, right, they already got second seed clinched. They locked that up, and they locked up the NFC East with their win against the Cowboys last week to get the sweep on the season. At this point, there's nothing to play for the Eagles. You got the number 2 seed. Whether you play the Commanders or the Packers in the opening rounds, out of your control. The only thing you can control is whether or not you decide to play your starters, try to build momentum, or you decide to give them the rest to keep them fresh for the playoffs. That's the only thing that's in your control if you're the Eagles. So at this point, hey, if you're the Eagles, it is what it is. I mean, we know that the Eagles are expected to rest their starters versus the Giants. It's been reported, Sirianni has said that he was going to rest their starters. Now, they didn't directly say whether or not Saquon was going to start or rest so far, but I believe the reason why is they're trying to drag it out. I mean, there's been all these different reports coming out there. I've been looking like, yeah, they're all talking about how, they're questioning whether or not he's going to start. I mean, personally, I don't think he's going to play. I personally don't think he's going to play. I think the Eagles should just rest him. I mean, they're actually going to rest their main stars. Hurts is going to be out for another week. He's not playing in this contest. Like AJ, Smitty, a lot of the defensive players, they're going to rest because there's nothing to play for. And they already ruled Jalen Hurts out. Now they're putting, I'll show you the depth chart real quickly. Here's because they're already putting out there. See, they ruled Hurts out. They ruled Saquon, AJ, Devontae, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, doubtful. Lane Johnson, doubtful, because they're expecting that all these guys are going to rest. So they're clearly, there's the expectation that, hey, they're not playing guys. So you know what? So clearly right there, that's showing you this is a filler game. And on the defense side of that, Jalen Carter, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, Darius Slay, they're all doubtful. Because the Eagles, it's for them, like, what do they have to play for in this game? Because if someone gets injured in this game, one of the starters, obviously that puts you in puts you in a tough spot come playoff time. But hey, you know what? But I don't care either way. There's nothing to play for. I don't want to risk losing our starters in a game there's nothing to play for. Interestingly enough, I saw a clip that Coach Belichick gave his take on whether or not Saquon should try to go for the record. I'm going to share it with you guys. Then I'm going to give you my thoughts because let's face it, that's the one that everybody's talking about the most, whether or not Saquon Barkley should play or not. But here it is. So I'm going to have to turn up the volume a little bit. And here we go. I'll share the link in the chat if you guys want to check it out yourself. But this was Coach Belichick's thoughts on whether or not Saquon should get the start. So here we go. I'm going to share the screen with you guys.
They're going to kind of come and go, and their personal records that mean a lot. But at the same time, the respect of the team probably means more. And Saquon's had other opportunities in other games to pile up some yards at the end of the game, and he's chosen not to do that. So I think probably winning Super Bowls are more important to him. I do think as a coach, once you acquiesce to one of those, well, we're going to let this guy break a record, then you've kind of set a precedent that anybody else who has a record to break, then do we need to let them break that too? And at some point, it comes back to doing what's best for the team, which is to win games, not break records.
There you heard it from the coach himself, Bill Belichick, 8-time Super Bowl champion. And we got Gregor John, long loyal supporter in the chat with us, rocking as always. And yes, folks, you heard it from Coach Belichick himself, saying that it's all about winning games more so than it is championships. And here was a great point he brought up. There have been a couple instances Saquon Barkley has decided to pass on records. I remember there was a game earlier in the season. You guys remember? Sirianni asked Saquon, do you want to continue to play, go for your career high, or do you want to rest? Because this was late in the game. It might have been the first Giants game or the Bengals game when we already had the game in the books. I think it was the Bengals game. Saquon was closing on his career high, but he chose to sit down because, hey, there's nothing to play for. I'll just come back next week when the team needs me. I remember I shared that with you a couple times. Saquon's comment probably to Sirianni was let the young boys eat, meaning, hey, let these younger guys play. Let them get the experience when there's nothing on the line in this game. Late in the fourth quarter, we got the game won. Point being is Saquon has at times said has proven that he's more worried about the team than he is individual records. And so far, his earliest comments on Sunday indicate after the game against the Cowboys indicate he's not really worried about the record. He's more concerned with helping the team. Now, I feel like personally, look, I understand from the fans' perspective, it would be cool to see Saquon break the single season rushing record in an Eagles uniform. As the perfect stick it to the Giants, that would be cool. However, in the long grand scheme of things, what do records really do? Individual records don't win championships. Case in point, throughout my lifetime, remember the quarterback record for most passing touchdowns on a season. At one point, it was held by Dan Marino from 1984 till 2004, something like that. But Dan Marino got the record, but the Dolphins didn't win the Super Bowl. 2004, Peyton Manning broke the record, but the Colts got eliminated in the divisional round by the Patriots. 2007, Brady broke Peyton's record. Patriots lost in the Super Bowl to the Giants. 2013, Peyton re-broke the record for most touchdown passes in a season. Broncos lost in the Super Bowl to the Seahawks in embarrassing fashion. So the point being is there's a history where individual records doesn't translate to championship wins. Or Eric Dickerson, he broke the record with the Rams, but remember the Rams did not win their first Super Bowl till 1999 after Dickerson had retired. So yeah, individual records are nice, but they don't win championships. Or the running back record for most rushing touchdowns in a season. Sean Alexander set it in 2005. Seahawks lost Super Bowl 40 in questionable fashion to the Steelers, but that's a whole nother subject. The following season, LaDainian Tomlinson broke it. One and done in the playoffs. So the point being is those records don't mean anything in terms of teams winning championships. So if we decide we're going to rest our starters, and we don't want to get anyone injured because we want this team healthy come playoff time so they can get their rest, I'm okay with that. Even though, hey, Saquon would have listed down his opportunity for the single season record. Like I said, those individual records don't matter over winning games and championships. And furthermore, I'm still proud of the fact that Saquon had an over 2,000-yard season in an Eagles uniform. That alone is the perfect slap in the face to the Giants. That alone is the perfect revenge for Saquon against his former team, to go to a division rival with a better offensive line, a better team, and going down in history for recording over 2,000 yards in a season is an impressive feat in itself. It's already a redemption story. The whole deal with him breaking the individual record, to me, would be an example of people going for instant gratification over something bigger in the long term. And we as a society tend to have a bad habit of going for instant gratification instead of letting the story play out. I think in this case, it would be best, forget the instant gratification, look toward the bigger goal of winning a championship. So I'm okay with that. I'm still proud of the fact that Saquon came to Philly and had his best season in Eagles uniform. That alone is the perfect stick it to the Giants and the perfect we're happy to have Saquon, the perfect revenge story for him. So I don't care either way. Because no matter what, win or lose or tie, even nothing changes. We still got the number 2 seed. Who gets the 7th seed is out of our control. That depends on the Cowboys Commanders, whether the Commanders win or lose, and the Packers Bears, whether the Packers win or lose. So that's going to be the deciding factor. If the Packers win, then the Commanders lose, we get the Commanders in the opening round. If both teams win, then we get a rematch with Brazil with the Packers in the wild card. So it doesn't, right, if the Commanders win, Packers lose, we still get the Packers. So that point is that who we play is out of our control. So there's no point in that. And yes, the Eagles will rest their starters, which I'm okay with. We got nothing to play for. And I've heard some fans push this out there that the Eagles should lose on purpose to spoil the Giants' draft position. Now, I'm not saying anyone watching this would do that because most of you guys that rock my content are realistic. I don't see anybody who comes in my streams making these claims. What I am saying, though, is that there are some Eagles fans trying to push that. And I'll say to this. Look, I get it. It would be hilarious to see the Giants go from looking like they're going to have the number 1 pick going into the new year to winning 2 straight to close the season and screwing themselves out of the number 1 pick. That would be funny to a degree. But at the same time, what's the point in losing on purpose? Now, granted, we have nothing to play for in this game, but to me, the best thing to do is just let the backups play. Whatever happens, happens. That's what I say. I don't feel like there's a point in trying to necessarily lose on purpose. Just let your backups play. Whatever they do, they do. Maybe if they play solid, maybe some of them could have a roster spot secured for next year, either on the Eagles or on a different team. Maybe some of these players play poor. It's an indication they're not cut out for the NFL. To me, I just say let the rest of the team players play to see if they still can have a roster spot or either on the Eagles or an NFL team going forward. I really don't think it matters. It's just let the guys go out there that are playing, let them try their best, and whatever happens, happens. But I don't think it's worth either trying to lose on purpose. It's just one of those, let whoever's going to play, whatever happens, happens. Now, it's going to tie me into my last part. Before I do that, I do want to point out the fact that the Eagles, if there's anything to look forward to, it's Eagles donning all black. That's the one thing to look forward to. Because we obviously, we don't have anything to play for. So there's nothing intriguing really about the game. Just the Eagles donning their all black jerseys. And there's the preview of it via the Eagles IG page and via FanDuel, which is cool to me because, hey, at least it gives us something to look forward to in this game, even though it's not much. I mean, Eagles donning all black uniforms. It's kind of cool just to see it this one time a year. So I'm cool with that. at least, it creates, it's a nice visual, but outside of that, that's all there really is. So, but it's crazy that the Eagles donning all black uniforms is the most exciting part of this game going into it. So my expectations for the Giants game really are just for it's the players that are playing for a roster spot somewhere, like I said, like McKee and all those other guys, to just try to secure themselves a future in the NFL, basically, which it really isn't much. Giants, I mean, considering they won last week, I guess, and I think it is too. I think Brian DeBall might be trying to win games too to save his job, because there's the rumors he could be on the out. I think DeBall might be trying to push his players to win, maybe for his own job security, and hoping that 2 wins could save his job, but I don't think that's going to happen. So that could be an expectation there. Brian DeBall could have the Giants motivated to win just in hopes that he could save his job. I mean, outside of that, there really isn't any expectations. I expect the starters to rest. And, I just expect it to be a filler game, to fill time before the playoffs. The Giants, I expect, and some of the players might be going out there playing for the Giants too, for their future, not just the coaches for their future. So I feel like that's the reason the Giants aren't tanking for the number 1 pick openly, is because some of the players are trying to save their job, and even some of the coaches, hopefully they hoping that from the players' perspective, they're hoping a great individual performance might save them to come back the next season, or the coaches are hoping a few wins might save their job. So that's why I think the Giants are actually playing. So I expect Giants to play for pride and for job security for next year. Eagles, they're just going to go through the notion, and they're going to look past the Giants and look forward to the playoffs. That's what I see. So those are my expectations. Honestly, I mean, score predictions in this one. I mean, if our starters aren't playing, just give me, and the Giants starters play, give me the Giants freaking like 23-10, just because I don't expect the Eagles to play their starters, which I'm okay with that. I can live with it, because, we don't gain anything by it. So those are my expectations for this game. You guys want to comment in the chat, let me know your score predictions. You're more than welcome to. With that being said, that's all I got for you for this one. Sorry this was kind of a short one, but it was expected. It's because there's not much to talk about. So let's just see what happens. Might come back into a brief recap about it on Monday or Tuesday, but it'll only be a brief recap. I might not even go live. I might just do it as a video instead, because I don't think there's going to be much to take away from the game. So I don't think I'm going to do a live post-game recap. Hey, Blaze, what is up? Blaze Radio, one of my compadres on the Pick and Roll podcast Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got episode 104 coming up this Wednesday, folks. So NBA fans, make sure to check that out. We got Greg and John as well, and Blaze talking in the chat. So shout out to both of you guys for coming through. And Gregor did say, I'm going to get to your comment, if the Eagles don't get to the Super Bowl, it's a disappointment. I would say so too. Absolutely. Right. Because the way they've been playing, they've been playing like contenders this year, especially after the bye week. They've been hot and they've been winning games. So I do think it would be a disappointment. So I got to agree with you on that one. The expectation is Super Bowl for the Eagles this year. But yeah, with that being said, we'll just, whatever happens in the Giants game. Either way, I'm cool with it. As long as we don't lose any starters for the playoffs, I really don't care. So, but hey, it always fly, Eagles fly. With that being said, you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. Stay safe. If you're going to go out this weekend, if you're going to drink, do so responsibly. Have a designated driver, an Uber, a Lyft, or a taxi cab, someone to pick you up. So if you go out this weekend, do so responsibly as always. Have a safe weekend. Fly, Eagles, fly. Until next time, your boy Nicky Stees signing off.